If you just take out the trash, that would be great. It smells. Oh, of course it smells. There's dead rat. Sorry. You want to know what I watched in the month of May? Oh, you didn't. You just want to know where the bathroom is. Right. You want to know anyways? Hey guys, welcome back to this episode of Screen Time. I'm your host, Matt, and today we're going through my watch list for the month of May. And let me know what you guys watched in the comments below, like and subscribe, do all those good things, but let's get into it. Starting off strong, on May 1st, I watched Sunset Boulevard. It's a cult classic. It's iconic from start to finish. The cinematography is dramatic, the acting is brilliant, and the ending, it just sticks with you. At first, my first few viewings, I didn't quite grasp the ending and the significance, but this viewing, I really, understood it, and it stuck with me, and it's just so phenomenal. All right, so next up is, on May the 3rd, I watched When Harry Met Sally. When I tell you this is a rom-com classic, Alright, so on May the 4th, you might be thinking, Star Wars film, Star Wars Day. No, I watched Another Simple Favor. I know, just as good, right? So this one is batshit crazy compared to the first, but, it's not as good. Anna Kendrick is the vibe. She's always the vibe. She's always, the moment. But I've come to a point with Blake Lively where I just don't want to see her on my screen anymore. Not on Instagram, not on TikTok, not on YouTube, not on any social media. I could bear her before, but she's so overexposed in a negative light that I just get annoyed seeing her. So on May the 9th, I watched Thunderbolts. I love this film. And Florence Pugh is iconic. She is such a kind-hearted person from what I can see, and her acting is in everything she's in. She lights up the screen. It's incredible. My favorite character, though, in the whole film is Bob. He is so relatable in ways that I didn't expect and maybe, wish weren't so relatable. The depression. I just wish my depression made me fly. That's all I want. So on May the 11th, I watched Final Destination 5, the last one I had to watch before number 6 came out. And I do not like this franchise. I think I've made it very clear in my Bloodlines review on my channel page, if you want to go watch it, that I do not like this franchise because it doesn't have that final girl or final boy or final whatever to root for. They all die in the end, and it's really frustrating. But anyways, the first accident is really great. It's inventive, it's thrilling, but the VFX, shocking. The color grading, shocking. It's all a bit early 2000s coded, and you can tell it's dated very poorly. So on the same day, May the 11th, I watched Companion, a much better horror film. The costumes, the hair, the makeup are all on point. It's vibes central. The commentary on, the robots, free will, love in the modern era are all kind of surface level, but it really works. It works for that surface level kind of thing. It's an entry level, it's a horror. It doesn't need to do all that much, but what it does do, it does definitely work. Some great performances, some incredible shots. The way the film starts is really enticing. So next up on May 12th, I watched Clute. This one is a very retro 70s kind of look at mental health. Now the ending is quite cliche, but I have a sneaky suspicion that for the era, it wasn't cliche. It's only because modern films have copied it that for me, it has become cliche, if you know what I mean. But it's definitely worth a watch, and the acting is incredible. It does kind of slow down in parts, but it picks up. So on May 18th, I watched Logan's Run, another retro film, but this one's a sci-fi, and by golly gee whiz, it has all the retro sci-fi tropes. There are characters and robots and things that just use, general items from our kitchens painted in a chrome silver and stuck on a person to make them look futuristic. That is very prevalent in this film. the film is very long and it does lose me at bits, but I always catch on just in time. Now, the script is very, reminiscent of biblical stories, but in all honesty, I think that's very prevalent for that time period, so it makes sense. Continuing on, in the 18th, I watched Final Destination Bloodlines. This one is probably my favorite of the Final Destination trilogy franchise. Definitely not a trilogy, there's more than 3, but franchise. The first kind of accident sequence is really strong. Now, I don't like how all the characters die in the end. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, but the kills are really great, and there are some really great characters that you grapple towards that make you want to continue watching the film. The effects are also really solid compared to all the other films in the franchise, especially the later ones. Another May 18th entry is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. My full thoughts are on my channel, so go check them out. But I did really enjoy this one. Pretty much the first half is snooze fest. The last 2 hours is really great. And there are some great action sequences, and the ending is really solid. Moving on to May 22nd, I watched Lilo and Stitch. Again, my review is up on the channel, but pretty much they took away a character, which made the ending change drastically, and it lost a lot of its identity and heart from the original, and just made it a lesser film. I still enjoyed my time with it, but it is not as good as the original. And that's just kind of common now for Disney live action remakes, unfortunately. Right, so 23rd of May, picture this. The new Fear Street film comes out and you're at a house party, so you force everyone to watch it with you. Now, everyone had a great time and they enjoyed it and they thought it was a solid flick. Now, with the film, the vibes were high. The cinematography, the hair, the costume, the production qualities are all on point for that era. It transports you back really effectively. But the acting leaves a little bit to be desired, and the kills are just a bit boring. There's a lot of, potential for these great kill sequences, but they just go for the boring ones. They go for the, knife to the chest or whatever it may be, instead of the, saw cutting a person in half kind of vibe. So 24th of May, we go back to more retro cinema with a cult classic, A Clockwork Orange. So this one, it's stuck with me for a while. I'm still thinking about it now. The dialogue is really visceral. The cinematography is also really visceral. It's just a really interesting watch. And the costumes are both very dreary and depressing, but also the most camp thing I've seen all year, which is so fun. All right, so another review I have up on my channel from the 26th of May is Bring Her Back. So pretty much it does everything right. There is shocking kill sequences. There is great sound design. The production values are all top notch. The acting is incredible. And it's just a creepy, fun time. First horror film for me in a really long time that I felt queasy and I had to look away. You know what I mean? It was really gross. So the final entry in my watch list is from the 28th of May, The Ugly Stepsisters. It's a international horror film available on Shudder, where I am. And it follows what the Ugly Stepsisters have to do to get the prince's attention and what they give up for Cinderella just to get the man. And there is some incredibly gross sequences, but not only the horror aspect, the character growth and kind of journey that they go through is really intense and heartfelt. You really feel it, and it's not something too common in modern kind of horror films. It's more about the scare a lot of the time, but this one really focuses on how that kind of experience morphs someone and changes them internally rather than externally. All right, and that's a wrap on May. Let me know what you guys have watched down in the comments below. Do you agree with some of my thoughts? Do you want a more in-depth review on some of these films? Let me know. Subscribe, do all those good things, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.